Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So today I want to talk about a debate that Cuttino Mobley and his friends was having about Stephon Marbury and Derrick Rose. And Cuttino Mobley picked Stephon Marbury over Derrick Rose, but his friends picked Derrick Rose over Stephon Marbury. And as I look back at both of the players' careers, Stephon Marbury, big time prospect, coming out of Lincoln High School, coming out of Georgia Tech, landed with Kevin Garnett early in his career, and they looked like one of those next teams in the Western Conference. I could only imagine, by the time that the Lakers and the San Antonio Spurs were running, the Western Conference, really running the NBA, where they would have fit in that. As Kevin Garnett grew as a player and got into his prime, and Stephon Marbury would have stayed there had he not wanted to leave and gotten into his prime. I think his career would have went totally different if he was bought all the way in Minnesota. And I'm talking about as far as some of the things they would have accomplished. But you look at Stephon Marbury's numbers. You had Isaiah Thomas earlier this week saying that they're Hall of Fame worthy. You look at what he's done for basketball across the world. He would have been one of those guys. He probably would have already been in, to be honest with you, if he would have stayed in Minnesota. But again, Stephon Marbury should probably be in the Hall of Fame. You look at Derrick Rose, didn't he win an MVP in like his third season? I don't want to say it wrong, but I feel like it was his third season where he was averaging 25 a game. And, you could make an argument that in that short amount of time I say peak Derrick Rose because did we ever get to really see prime Derrick Rose? I don't think we saw prime Derrick Rose. I think we seen peak Derrick Rose. And there's a difference because he had a peak, but he never reached his actual prime, if you ask me. The injury started coming a little too soon for that. But, you could argue that those Miami teams is what stopped them, those super teams. And Jimmy Butler wasn't, this Miami Jimmy Butler yet. He was still more just a defensive player, and he hadn't gotten that mid-range jump shot to where it is now. We're going to take a listen to what Cuttino Mobley and his friends said, though, and I'll be back. Listen.
This dude right here.
He didn't win an MVP.
Hey, guys, everybody in the world. This dude right here
He didn't
said
win
D
an
Rose.
MVP.
This dude said D Rose, and D Rose, I love you, but was better than Stephon Marbury. That's what he said.
Does Stephon Marbury have an MVP?
This is a clown.
That's all I
This is
wanna
a
know.
clown. He said
All I wanna
D
know.
Rose all day for me, bro. I'm D
over
Rose.
Stephon
I'm
Marbury.
mad. I don't care. When we go
Over
to the
Stephon
stats,
Marbury.
we go to the
D-Rose,
stats.
I'm asking you a
We
question.
go to the stats.
Yeah, I'm D Rose, bro.
We go to the stats. Who got an MVP in the league?
Stephon Marbury, D Rose.
Who
You
does?
taking D Rose?
I'm taking D Rose. Prime D Rose. I'm taking Prime D Rose.
D Rose all day.
I'm taking Prime D Rose.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
So you heard what those guys had to say. And, if you look at the field goal percentages, it wouldn't potentially tell the whole story. As far as a jump shooter, Stephon Marbury was the much better jump shooter, despite what it says, right? Derrick Rose was an explosive guy who could finish through contact, finish over the biggest players. And Stephon Marbury could do that too, and he was very explosive. But Derrick Rose, when I think of world-class athlete at point guard, a lot of people think about Russell Westbrook, and yes, he is too. But I really think about Derrick Rose as far as his speed, athleticism, and he had control with, having pace to the game and stuff. Little intricacies at point guard that Russell Westbrook never had. He was just on go. But Derrick Rose, when he would get it from a standstill, I'm talking about just get it and push it down the court, it was nothing no one could do. And he was such a two-legged jumper, that when he would get in that launching pad, we saw what he did over Joel Anthony. Now, we saw Stephon Marbury go back door, catch that lob with the nets and drop it back over his head. So those were two very explosive point guards. If you look at Stephon Marbury's career of, his peak numbers, it goes much longer than Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose, there's like 3 or 4 years of his peak, and then, a clear drop off as far as injuries, field goal percentage, and stuff like that. So with the D Rose peak run, you probably get about 3 or 4 years. With Stephon Marbury's peak, you'll probably get about 8, 9. Actually, I'm putting the stats up right now. And yeah. So actually, I'll run them throughout the course of this video so you can see the stats for both players. But I think the debate, as far as when he first said it, I was like, oh man, clearly D Rose, because D Rose got that MVP, and I think a part of why you would put D Rose over Marbury is he was with the Bulls in his peak, and the teams got to really go as far as they could possibly go. With the Minnesota team, you feel like there's so much unfulfilled potential there, and no other situation ever materialized for Marbury as far as like where you thought the team could go. And that's a risk you take, sometimes when you want out of a team. Whereas when they drafted him and Kevin Garnett, they're building around those two. When you get traded to another team, they already kind of have the way that they're building the team, and you kind of just fitting in more so to the team. Unless you LeBron James or somebody like that, where you can help reshape the roster and stuff like that, you're gonna find yourself in a different situation. Whereas the first team you were with, a lot of times, not all the time, because they do a poor job managing some of these teams too, but as far as like building around you, that is the focal point of the organization at that point, when they draft you and you're theirs. But hey, I think it's an interesting debate. Marbury don't get his love sometimes. Um, D Rose is one of those guys. I would even compare him. What I would say is like D Rose a prime penny. I would just because of like how short the peak was. We never got to see prime version of those players. Um, Maybe Penny was a little closer to his prime, but we never got to see what they could actually be over the course of 10 or 12 years of peak basketball, and their point guards. I would say them because, Penny was 6'7", extremely athletic, could pass with the best of them. Um, he was a tough cover for Pippen and Jordan when they would try to switch off on him, because he had all the physical attributes and the size and everything else. Explosiveness, jump shot, could shoot the three ball, no weaknesses, right? And D Rose, you would probably go under his screen more um, than any of the elite guards, of these three that I'm talking about. Um, but that could work against you too because he's so quick. And his teardrop wasn't reflective of his three ball early in his career. He could make it if he got on the run. And if he would have shot like he was able to shoot later in his career, earlier in his career, it might have extended his career, a little bit longer. But D Rose is one of those guys, man. Stephon Marbury, the things he's done for basketball, definitely he probably did more to get in the Hall of Fame than D Rose for sure. But people love D Rose, and I think his comeback story after being injured and having 50 in Minnesota and continuing to battle against the odds is why he's revered in a way where it seemed like his peak extended longer into a prime when we actually didn't get to see D Rose's prime, which is very sad. He is 101, man. He's 101. Love Stephon Marbury too, but I want to know your thoughts. Who you picking? Peak D Rose or peak Stephon Marbury? Let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.